Hey guys, I wanted to invite you to join me for a live stream I'm doing Friday, May 8th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, right here on youtube.com/christiangeekcentral, where I will be sharing my picks for favorite bang-for-your-buck games that give you a lot of playtime, a lot of fun, for a relatively small amount of money. So I hope you'll come and join me, hang out, and have some fun. Hope to see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye. christiangeekcentral.com.
All right, buckle up. This car has a spoiler. Just got out of Gretel and Hansel, the fantasy horror movie, and I really liked this one. I wasn't sure what to expect, but let's dive right into the spoilery stuff, and I'll save my review thoughts for my review video. So let's start at the very end and I guess maybe work our way backward. In the final moment, the final shot, she's narrating to herself about, the witch is dead. She is staying at the house. She sends Hansel off to kind of go his path while she goes her path. And she's kind of like indicating that she is going to be different from the witch. That she's going to feed the goodness inside of her or whatever, and she lets all the spirits of the children that the witch ate, she releases them, and so it looks like she's going down a different path. And where the witch had talked about when her father, gave into the darkness, and when she herself gave into the darkness, she used this recurring motif phrase of all we had to do was, and there was a lot of mumbling and muttering in this movie, so not all the words could be made out, was like, be something and trust the darkness, or give yourself to the darkness, or whatever. Be greedy, it almost sounded like one time. Be greedy and trust the darkness. Give yourself to the darkness. And she changed it and said, all I would have to do is be brave and trust in myself. And then she used the same formulaic, and I did, and I was, and he did, and he was. He was greedy, and he did, give himself to the darkness, or whatever. And she said of herself, and I am, meaning I am brave, and I will trust myself, she says. And when she said that, for a moment I groaned. I was like, oh crap, because the ending felt really weird. She was sending her brother off, the witch was dead, but she was staying there, and I was like, what is this, like some kind of like empowerment story? I mean, I do wonder if it's thematically intended in part to be a coming into womanhood type of story, and and then at the end it's kind of like this female empowerment, or her coming into her womanhood and being empowered. The ending felt really weird. It felt like suddenly the origin of a superhero movie. I was like, now I have these powers and I'm going to do good things with them and stuff, and I was like, this ending has gone off the rails thematically and from the vibe of the whole movie being a horror movie. This is really weird, But then at the very end, after she says, and I will trust myself, she looks at her fingers, and her fingers all start to go black like the witches, and the music turns to, darkness, and, it being kind of creepy and stuff. And she starts looking around her in the forest, like what's happening to me, and what's going on, she was aware that something creepy was coming, and then we go to black. And I think that there are probably two chief ways to interpret that ending. The one, which retains possibly a message of female empowerment, or if not female empowerment, then empowerment of some kind, of this character, kind of a positive ending of some kind, then we could interpret it as, okay, there is still a darkness she will have to be on guard against. That will be part of her story. But she will fight the good fight, and this is just kind of indicating that that's what her path is going to involve, But what I think is the more satisfying ending, and I almost want to dare to say, or at least hope, that it's the intended ending message of the story, is that no, you can't just be brave and trust yourself and expect to not become corrupt. What so much of the movie and the classic fairy tale itself is this warning against embracing that which is enticing. Just because, something smells yummy and you're hungry for it doesn't mean it's good for you. And, they took a different path with her character, and instead of being enticed by food, I thought this was really clever, they made it so that she was enticed to gain power and independence, and that fit very much with this kind of coming-of-age story. And so I think thematically, what we could take from it, from a messaging standpoint, whether it's intended or not, I think it's likely that it's intended. I don't know how likely, but I think what we can take from it is when you are coming of age, it could apply to other times of life too, other situations, but it seems to be most directly commenting on coming of age. When you are coming of age, you are choosing what kind of person you're going to be. When you're at these pivotal moments of embarking into a new phase or stage of life, you're choosing what kind of person you're going to be and what's going to guide you in those moments, and who you're going to have be a part of your life and who you're not going to have be a part of your life. This speaks to maybe many different kinds of life transitions. And it's a cautionary tale, I think, at the end. That's how I'm going to take it. It's a cautionary tale at the end to not merely be brave and trust yourself and isolate yourself. She sends her brother off when arguably her brother should have remained in her life, should have remained a part of her story, Yes, she didn't consume him like the witch wanted him to, but she did remove him from her life. And, I'm just, I really am curious about what the intended message, what the belief of the writer is and the director. What is their belief? It's just vague enough that you couldn't pin it down, and for that I am a little bit disappointed. Sometimes I wish that movies would be, especially those that are, making points that I think potentially could be really good ones, they shy away from going all the way. So this makes me curious about the writer, makes me curious about the director, makes me want to know more about where they're coming from, what their worldview is, But at the very least, I think that there's potentially a really good message here, as is often the case with horror movies, ironically, compared to like your average superhero movie or something. All that business with her being trained by the witch, the way they feel, I'm not sure if I'm going to mention that in my review. I might, I don't know yet. It's just interesting. I really avoided, maybe I should watch a trailer and see what the trailer reveals, because I saw a teaser for this thing and then I was like, no, I'm out. I know I'm interested in seeing this. I don't want to see anything else because I really want to just be taken by surprise if the movie wants to try and do that, so... But anyway, I guess that's all I really have to say. That ending was probably the biggest thing to me. It's like, I really thought, I was just like going, oh no, another trust yourself message. And then in the last seconds, it turned it around. And I was like, oh, really? I think they're saying, no, you can't just be brave and trust yourself. I think that is actually what they're saying. Because otherwise, it just doesn't jive with the overall theme of both the movie, I think, and of course the classic fairy tale. So anyway, if this movie is actually putting the message out there of, hey, you can't just be brave and trust yourself and think that you're going to remain incorrupt, That is a crazy bold message coming from Hollywood. Crazy. Anyway, that's it for now.
Burn, ungodly filth!
What do you want?